Ambassador, what would you say is the most challenging part about being on the UN Security Council at this moment?
Well, I think the greatest challenge we face today is the transition or transformation in the relationships between the major powers. We are moving into a multipolar world where the relationships between the major powers are still uncertain and undetermined. And that is affecting the work of the Security Council on so many issues that we face.
Tell us a little bit more about Pakistan's priorities at the Security Council, at the United Nations, and how you use your voice and your position when it comes to issues, conflicts that you mentioned, Gaza, the DRC, Sudan, and what has been happening in Ukraine.
Our first priority has to be our development, our economic and social development, and therefore we seek to promote greater equity, equitable international economic relations, greater financial support to developing countries, more fairer trade, as well as access to technology. Apart from that, on peace and security, of course, Pakistan's interest is in adherence to the principles of the UN Charter. And that is our approach to all issues. Of course, we are facing immense challenge because of the Gaza war that we've witnessed for the last 15 months or so, in which 45,000 people have been killed. And at the moment, we do not have a clear path to a two-state solution which adheres to the principles of the UN Charter. And the basic principles involved here is the principle of self-determination and the principle of non-acquisition of territory by the use of force. The Ukraine is, of course, a major issue in Europe and for the world. And we are hopeful that negotiations will start, that the conflict will end, and that we will find a viable solution.
Your country has a very long and storied history and involvement with UN peacekeeping, with thousands of peacekeepers sent on missions around the world. Why has this been such an important part of your participation at the United Nations?
Well, Pakistan actually is the host to one of the oldest peace observation missions. So it is quite natural that we feel committed to the concept of UN peacekeeping. And we have been very active since the days of our first mission in the Congo, which is now DRC. We have participated in about 42 missions. UN missions contributed over 120,000 troops over these past decades for UN peacekeeping.
China has the presidency of the Security Council for the month of February, and the theme of China's signature event is maintenance of international peace and security, practicing multilateralism, reforming and improving global governance. What does that mean to Pakistan?
Well, for Pakistan, I think it is quite clear that multilateralism is the road of the future. The international community faces common problems of development, problems of security, problems of climate change. And these are common problems to all of us. And that's why we endorse the concept that President Xi Jinping has outlined of a common future for mankind. And that common future can only be built collectively through multilateralism. And the epitome of multilateralism is here at the United Nations. So we must promote multilateral solutions to all the challenges that we face. And we think that China's concepts, of which President Xi has advanced, the Global Development Initiative, the GDI, Global Security Initiative, the Global Cultural Initiative, these are all building blocks towards a new corrective multilateral order. And China's initiative to convene this meeting devoted to multilateralism in the Security Council is, I think, a timely manifestation of China's desire to promote such a common future for mankind. And Pakistan, of course, fully endorses this. We are part of all the three initiatives.
2025 is a big year at the United Nations, marking 80 years since it formed. Can you share any reflections of this body over the past 8 decades and really what its role is in the future?
Well, I always say that if the United Nations didn't exist, we would have to create it. The world today is so complex and so multidimensional in the interaction between states and nations that we need a body of rules on the basis of which we can conduct our relations. And that body of rules is provided by the UN Charter. We have to be able to avoid the existential threats from nuclear weapons, from climate change, from poverty, from devastation that we are facing in so many dimensions. And that future can only be built within the United Nations. So we think the 80th anniversary is a good opportunity for us to find ways to strengthen multilateralism, strengthen the United Nations, and support it as best as we can. And we hope that all countries, all members of the United Nations will join together in this endeavor.
Ambassador Munir Akram, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.